Well, hi there, and welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we love to improve your home and improve your life. And I guess it was a couple years ago, I learned about the power of the milkweed plant.
Oh yeah, for having the butterflies
Monarch
show up.
butterflies.
Yes, those are so cool. You had a bunch.
Well, we had one.
You tried one. You had one.
Well, here's what we did both. So we had a bunch of the milkweed plant.
Yeah.
And this is just a great way to bring butterflies to your garden because everyone loves to see
Beautiful.
butterflies.
Who doesn't
right?
like a butterfly?
It's magical. It's like little fairies are showing up. And so you get the milkweed plant. And the milkweed plant, by the way, is not really that pretty. It kind of looks like...
Looks almost like webbing.
Well, it is called a weed.
Yeah.
It is. And it's like a what? A webbing?
Yeah, doesn't it look like it has a little fur?
Yeah. And
I saw them in the Muir Woods this weekend.
And the leaves, it just kind of looks like almost like a poisonous plant, even though it's going to attract monarch butterflies. It's not poisonous, but it turns out to be the only real food that monarchs eat, right? And when they make their trek, from one part of the world to Mexico and back, they live for this milkweed. So if you have this in your garden,
it's always amazing to me that they find this stuff.
I know.
It's almost like an In-N-Out burger sign,
It is,
right? With a big red
is.
arrow, like, hey, it's right here, guys, come on.
Get the double with the grilled onions, and there it is. And they are just like in hog heaven. But it was a fun process because we actually ended up with a little baby monarch, and it went through that whole process from caterpillar, to then becoming this shell, and you could see the monarch inside.
Sure.
But then it didn't come out. Didn't come out. So that was a little sad. Something went wrong. But not to get depressed on that. We're talking about how to bring butterflies to your garden because the brightly colored butterflies can be such a wonderful thing. It's going to make you feel like spring is here. It's going to welcome other wildlife to your garden. And so there's very easy things you can do. Now, in your yard, do you see butterflies?
I do. I have
different
a
colors?
variety of stuff that I think attracts the butterflies, and I love it. We sit there and we just marvel
Isn't it fun?
Yes.
So one of the things you want to think about is in terms of butterfly garden necessities, whether all you have is containers or you have a yard. Number one is you want to plant native flowering plants. Now, that kind of makes sense because, right, butterflies and native flowering plants have kind of co-evolved over time, and they depend on each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you look up in your, go to your local nursery and find the native plants that are truly native to your hometown and to your part of the country, it's going to all of a sudden have these butterflies show up like by truckload.
Yeah, and it makes total sense because the native plants are obviously going to thrive in your particular climate. Don't try and bring in, tropical Hawaiian plants if you live in Iowa because it's not the same microclimate. So obviously you're going to want to have the native stuff.
And there's a great website, by the way. It's the National Wildlife Federation. If you go there, they have all kinds of different links to help you find what native plants work in your region and in your state. And so just check it out. Go to National Wildlife Federation or nwf.org, and you'll be right there and you'll be set to go. Another thing you want to think about is the plant type and the color. Now, butterflies love, it makes sense, color. They love bright things. They love reds and yellows and
It's just
oranges.
like me on the highway finding a McDonald's sign in the horizon. They pick it up and immediately see that this is the place for us.
Yeah. And so the purple, they love purple.
Sure.
And anything that's kind of flat topped, but then almost kind of clustered, or they have short flower tubes. Think about it, then the butterfly can kind of get in there and get its nectar and do its thing. Right?
And wouldn't you say that the butterflies and the hummingbirds are attracted to relatively the same kinds of plants?
Very similar, yeah.
And what could be better than having both?
I love them all.
Yeah.
Another thing is to think about planting good nectar sources in the sun. Your key butterfly nectar source plants they need a lot of full sun from mid-morning to mid-afternoon. And keep in mind that the butterfly generally does its hamburger feasting, if you will, only in the sun.
Sure.
It isn't one of those kind of people that can sit, in dark and eat a hamburger.
Sure.
It's got to be in the full sun.
Pretty much anywhere you'd have your vegetable garden is where you're going to want to have your butterfly stuff, right?
So if sun is limited in your landscape, try adding butterfly nectar sources, like you say, to the vegetable garden.
Right.
And all of a sudden, isn't that great?
There you go. It's 2 for 1.
It's a 2 for
You
1.
can harvest and have some delicious tomatoes and cucumbers, and at the same time, look, honey,
Yeah.
a butterfly, and look at this tomato.
See, and
Yeah.
then and by the way, when you are growing these vegetables, make sure you have some marigold in the middle of it.
Oh.
You know that trick, right?
Yes.
It's going to keep away the bad insects.
Yeah. That's
and
a great idea.
and other critters.
And that's so much better and more efficient and effective than spraying a bunch of stuff.
And
right?
it attracts the butterflies.
Yeah.
And it's that beautiful golden
So
color.
you know what? I'm glad you said that. That reminded me. I just planted my tomato stars this last weekend, and they're doing great. But if I throw some marigold around
Yes.
it, I'm going to be very fortunate, and it's going to keep all the
It's
pests away.
it's a natural repellent.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to do it.
By the way, speaking of butterflies, you need to be careful of insecticides in the area where your butterfly plants are, because it can harm the butterflies.
Sure.
So, just
So
be
again,
careful.
if you are in the vegetable garden and you are spraying out of necessity, maybe it's not such a good idea
Yeah,
to have the
just
butterfly stuff right by it.
have a safe butterfly zone so
Right,
they know, right?
right.
Another good idea is to feed butterfly caterpillars. Now this is kind
Ooh,
of
that's a
tricky.
good idea.
Now, if you don't grow caterpillars, right, there's not going to be any adults. So you can bring caterpillar food into your garden, and this will actually really increase your chances of attracting some really uncommon and unusual butterflies, right? So in a lot of cases, the caterpillars of a certain species feed on only a limited variety of plants, but you can get these butterfly caterpillars. They never cause leaf damage, right, like the other bad guys.
So this is almost like buying the ladybugs, right?
Yes.
So you're bringing them, you're importing the guys that are going to
Yes.
really help out.
Yes,
It's like union workers on the docks.
totally.
Bring them in so they can, yeah.
You're going to speed up the process.
Perfect.
Right? And believe it or not, butterflies need a little nap too, you know.
Oh, yeah, I
All
know
that
they do.
flittering around.
Well, that's a lot of work.
I mean, they're bar hopping when you
Yeah,
think
they
about
are.
it, going from nectar
Boy, they're
to
getting
margarita to
loopy.
margarita.
Woo! I like it here. It's yellow.
They need a place to rest. So butterflies need some sun for their orientation, but also some warmth for their wings for flight. So here's a good thing to do. Put some flat stones in your garden and have Willow help you with this.
Okay.
Put some flat stones, and it gives the butterflies a little place to sit and bask in the sun.
See?
Just
Isn't
like
that
you,
nice?
like
I
a hammock.
know.
It's a hammock
That's where
for
you
the
get your
butterfly.
vitamin D.
Eric Stomer, Cindy Dole. You can check us out on our website at yourhomewizards.com. We love to improve your home and improve your life.